r/EntitledParents, episode 19. Aunt tries to steal my lizard and pays the price. Okay mods, I get it. I'm terrible at spelling. Quick rundown: this story was from at least 8 years ago, so I might have to guess some bits, but I remember most of it. The cast: A equals AUNTCOUSIN equals COUSINMUM equals MY mum ME equals MY great granddad who doesn't like mustard on his chips. I'm on mobile, sorry for bad formatting. Backstory: every year we have a family get together. My dad couldn't come to this one because he was away on a business trip. Yawn. So into the story. I think I'm 15 years old, give or take a year, and I'm sitting in my room playing Xbox 360 as I'm socially exhausted from the day. Cousin, I want to play with your lizard. Me, I generally try to be nice to my cousins because I don't want my aunt to be a bitch. Okay, that's fine, but you are going to have to wait a bit though, because he's a bit sleepy. He's nocturnal, so that means he sleeps at day. I'll tell you to come up when he's woken up a bit more. Cousin, do you promise you'll show him though? Me, yep, I'll call you up in a bit. About 3 hours later, it's around 7 or something, so I decide that the kid's probably tired, so I'll ask him now. I go downstairs and he's asleep. I don't wake him because he looks tired. Bad move. About an hour later, my aunt slams open the door and starts screaming, "Aunt, why did you lie to my son?" Me, thinking shit's about to go down. What do you mean? Aunt, you know exactly what I mean, you little shit. You promised my son to let you have that thing. Me, oh, I'm sorry. Does he want to see him right now? Cousin enters the stage. Cousin, crying, I can't remember if he was faking or not. He said he could let me hold him. Me, there's no need to get upset. I can get him out now. Cousin, sniffing, really? Me, of course I can. There's no need to get upset, aunt. Now there you go, hand him the gecko and that will be it. I get him out, and cousin has a nice time playing with him. Cousin, can we get a gecko, aunt? Maybe, it depends on how much they are. Me, the animal itself doesn't cost much, but with the stuff it's around 200 quid, aunt. Jesus Christ, all that money for that tiny thing. Me, well yeah, you have to make sure they have a nice life. Aunt, are you sure I can't just have yours? Me, laughing because I thought she was joking. No, it's my mum's one. Even if you got him, has only got a few years left. Aunt, well that's perfect. We don't want him for long. Me, greatly pissed off by now. You can't have him, please get out of my room now. Aunt walks out, and cousin waves bye bye. The following day, it was the final day they were around, and we were going to head out for a nice day out. My aunt said she was sick, so we let her stay there while we went out. Massive mistake. I get back and head back to my room to check the temps of the tank because it was a hot day and the entire vivarium was gone. Granted, it was only a 20-gallon, but it had decoration eco earth and a gecko in it. Me, the vivarium's gone. Mum, where the hell did you put it? Me, this isn't a joke. Look, my mum comes into my room and immediately goes straight to my aunt. Mum, where is EntitledParents' tank? Aunt, what tank? Mum, Jesus Christ, shut up, my mum, and I start looking for it because my aunt says she didn't even know I had a tank. I forgot the looking bit, but it's nothing important, I think. We go out to the car, and guess who is in my aunt's truck? Yes, truck. This woman actually thought that it would be a good idea to have her animal in the back of a truck. My gecko, tank and all. Long story short, my aunt has been banned from visiting us again, and we made her pay a visit to the vet for my gecko just in case. My gecko was fine in the end. He got some treats for being a good boy and had 2 more years of life until he died of old age. He had a nice life. I miss him, but I got a new leopard gecko recently, and he's very cute. TL, Dr. Aunt tries to steal pet leopard gecko, has to pay £100 vet fee, and is excluded from family get-togethers. Link for picture of new gecko because everyone's asking. https://www.com/r/leopardgecko/com/the_spot_com/utm_sworm/utm_medium equals ios_app. Thank you so much for my first gold. Entitled grandmother doesn't like me speaking bilingual to my daughter. Today I was babysitting my neighbor's daughter, 2 years old. It isn't the first time I babysit for her. I love this little girl, she's the cutest thing in the world. Anyways, I told my neighbor that I had a few errands to run, and she was fine with her daughter being with me. I went to the mall to return a few things and I went into Max's to try on same shoes, while Layla was sitting in the chair looking at what I was doing. I asked her, do you like this shoes? Layla just said wow cute. Then I asked CRES Deberíamos comprar estos zapatos, do you think we should buy this shoes? Layla is just repeating shoes, being all happy. I'm basically having a conversation with myself in Spanish. I then say, come on Layla, let's go pay, and then we could go get ice cream. Now here's where our entitled grandmother comes in. She was in the same selection as us with her grandson, maybe 3 or 4 years old, but I wasn't paying any attention to her before this. She says you shouldn't be speaking to her in Spanish, you should teach her English, she'll benefit from knowing English more. I'm not shocked, this isn't the first time someone has told me not to speak Spanish. I just took a deep breath and said we are both Dominicans, which means our native language is Spanish, and yes, she was born here, so she is learning to speak both languages. Grandmother didn't like me talking back to her and continues to say your daughter is going to start school soon, so she will need English more, and you live here anyways, there's no need for her to speak Spanish right away. At this point I know this lady won't listen to reason, so I just gather my things and pick up Layla ready to leave. Grandma continues to say I just want the best for her, like the fuck I was pissed. First, how is Layla not knowing her family's language not good for her? I lost my cool and said, lady please fuck off, I don't care for your advice. She was shocked and I walked away before she could say anything else. Honestly though, why do people think it's right for them to tell other people how to raise their kids? And to clarify, the only reason I never corrected her when she said your daughter was because she looked like the type of person to get security on me, say that I kidnap a child. I honestly don't understand her logic. Last time I checked, being bilingual was a good thing. Sorry for all the mistakes and format, but please let me know what you think. Ask not to return to church. One of my aunts had kids about the same time I did. We lived near her for a while, but stopped getting our kids together because her oldest kid was extremely entitled. Her daughter could be a reasonable human being, but my aunt did her best to make her son the most entitled child on the planet. I swear she thought she was competing for the most entitled mom and who can make the most entitled child awards. As a result of her actions, her kids were horribly behaved in public. One day we were over for some relative's birthday. My aunt starts talking about how horrible the church is being about her kids. In about 10 seconds the entire backyard full of adults is dead silent. My aunt was furious because the priest asked her to come to the church office earlier in the week. Aunt was taking her oldest child to mass with her because at 4 he was old enough. Their particular parish had a cry room where children who are too small to sit still and be quiet during mass are able to sit with their parents. Of course her child had no need of the cry room, so she insisted they sit in the second pew so he can have a good view. I honestly could not figure out what he needed a view of, but I only spent 6 years in Catholic school, so what did I know? It seems her son would not sit in the pew. He stood on it. He yelled things at the priest at various times. He got out into the aisle and laid down with a race car making loud vroom vroom noises. He wandered away and got up to the altar and tried to grab the entire plate of communion wafers. When people were lined up for communion, he stood next to the line with the wine and tried to jostle people's arms so the wine would spill. Overall, he behaved exactly the way you do not behave during mass. When my aunt was called in to talk to the priest, she was sure he was going to praise her for raising such a wonderful, perfect child. I saw the look between two of the great aunts when she told us this during the party. It was sheer disbelief that she could ever think this. The nerve of the priest to criticize her son or her parenting. My aunt told us that the priest clearly needed to not be at the church. He needed to retire to a quieter parish because he cannot tell the good children from the bad ones. The priest was 35 at the time. She was incredibly insulted that he thought she should teach her child to not behave like a hooligan in church. Her son was perfect. Then she said the line that made me not have my kids around hers any longer. If God wanted my kids to behave a certain way in church, he would make them. He clearly wanted my perfect son to talk to everyone and to answer the questions the priest asked. God is all powerful and he will make entitled son sit still if that is what he wants. Of course we didn't sit in the cry room. Entitled son adds so much to the service and everyone should have the privilege of spending mass with entitled son. Even her mostly oblivious husband was stunned at that statement. The party ended shortly after that. Those of us who had kids didn't really want them to pick up bad habits from entitled son. The older relatives all left with excuses of early mornings the next day. Then entitled aunt and entitled son wondered why no one showed up for entitled son's birthday. It seems we all sent gifts and our regrets because we had some crisis or other that kept us from being there. The next time her son was at mass was during his first year at Catholic school. One of the teachers had to sit right next to him so that he would behave with some semblance of appropriate behavior. I have an entitled mother. You all know the cast. M. Entitled mother. D. My dad. S. Sister. Main. Me. F. Fiance. Little backstory, me and my mum have never gotten along as she walked out on me and my sister 10 years ago and has recently tried inserting herself back into our lives. In all honesty, I absolutely hate her. She was manipulative and abusive to me, my sister and my dad. She was also a violent alcoholic, and she was one of the reasons I became a police officer. I recently went out with my girlfriend, sister, and dad. We drove into central London, my dad driving my car as my arm is still a bit sore. We went to the Shard Tower and went up to the observation deck. We looked at the amazing view for a few minutes. I call my girlfriend over and I kneel down, pull a ring out of my pocket and ask her to marry me. She gasps and accepts. I stand up, put the ring on her finger and pull her in for a kiss. I wince as I pulled her in with my bad arm. Everyone is clapping and congratulating us. We continue to look out over the London skyline for a few more minutes. We then leave the Shard and head to a restaurant that my dad had reserved for us. As we arrive at the restaurant, we see a face in the car park that I'd hoped I'd never see again. My mother. Me, what the fuck are you doing here, Em? My daughter invited me. She said you were going out and she said I could come. My sister chimes in saying, yes, aren't you going to congratulate them? They've just got engaged. D. Em, just get out of here now please. M. No, how dare you not tell me that my son's got engaged? I've got every right to be here. Me, no you don't. You abandoned us. You missed out on everything. You are a violent and manipulate woman. What makes you think we'd welcome you back with open arms? D. You missed out on your daughter's results day, your son's results day, every prom and party, his police graduation ceremony, and I can assure you, you'll be missing out on his wedding to M. Police, you became a cop. Out of all the job choices in the world, why did you become a cop? You could get hurt. I want you to resign me. You hurt me long before the job would. The reason I became a police officer is because I believe in what's right and wrong. I believe that everyone deserves a chance in life and that everyone should be safe. No one should live in fear of abuse, both verbal and physical. You ruined my childhood. I want to make sure that people don't have to go through that again. The world would be a better place if assholes like you aren't in it. Just remember, I'm not that scared little kid anymore. F. Please let's just go. M sees the ring on my fiance's finger and grabs her arm. M. Wow, what a beautiful ring. Mind if I have it? I never got a wedding ring, you see. I deserve something like that. Me and my fiance in unison. No. D. You did have a wedding ring, a very nice one. You sold it and used the money to buy alcohol. We all pushed past her and walked into the restaurant. She tried to follow, but I blocked the doorway. Me, get lost mum, I don't want you here. Leave us alone. You made your choice 10 years ago. M. What? I'm sorry. Please just let me have that ring. It's what I deserve. You can just get another one. Me. No. Fuck off M. You ungrateful piece of shit. After everything I've done for you. She slaps me hard around the face. Me. There's the violent alcoholic I grew up with. Just go away, now. I have no qualms about having my mum arrested for assaulting a police officer. I walk back into the restaurant and show my warrant card to the manager and point out my mum and tell him not to allow her in if she tries to enter. We have a lovely meal and it was honestly one of the best days of my life. When we left my mum wasn't there. I hope I never see her again. My sister doesn't really remember how bad mum was as she was 6 when she left. I'll explain everything that our mum did when she turns 18. Me and my fiance are getting married next summer. Entitled Mother Steals My Chocolate. Well, it was my dog's chocolate, but stealing is stealing. A bit more info. I was at the park training my dog with good boy choc drops. They are the only thing he will do anything for. M storms over and demands I stop poisoning my dog. Takes choc drops from me and gives them to her daughter. I do try to tell her, but she won't listen. Daughter then says choc tastes funny. I told her, of course it does, it's dog food. Daughter then voms all over Emma's feet. If only she had listened to me. Entitled kid refuses to give up his bus seat for a pregnant woman, writes about it on Reddit and gets roasted. So it goes. This kid at the 10 years old refused to move from his seat for a pregnant woman a bus and tells her to STFU and next time fuck someone with a car. His entitled mother then also refuses to move from her seat and rewards her entitled kid with some Subway. The entitled kid thinks it's a great idea to write this story on r/EntitledParents and gets roasted in the comments. The kid excuses himself by saying that she should have gotten knocked up by someone with a car so she wouldn't be on the bus. 1. How do you know she was knocked up? 2. He was also on a bus with his mom. Where is her car? Huh? Then in order to cover up his mess he writes on r/AskReddit all rude stories get more comments than nice ones test, paraphrase the title, and continues to get roasted, cause no one was dumb enough to fall for that. Edit. He deleted the post, so here's a link to a picture of his post. https://intitledparents/com/r/int/ledparents/com/for_kid_score_r_c/entitled_for_r_e and amp UTM_medium_ios_app. Edit 2. Holy crap, I left this alone for a bit and I've noticed that it turned into a witch hunt. To calm the hate a bit I'm removing the link to the op, but I'll leave picture of the post with the user redacted. Honestly, I only left the link so people could see the comments and I'm disappointed it turned to this. This post was supposed to be funny and the irony of a wreck and the EPRA did not a hateful witch hunt. You guys are better than that, don't stoop to that level.